Autophiles in the
GWM
Jeep G-Wagon,
kind of
the
Jeep-like.
GWM Tank 300.
It used to be called the Way Tank.
Way
Tank 300, and
Right.
Way is their luxury brand.
Yeah.
Then they decided, oh, we can.
Oh, brand is free, right?
It's free, so we just make another brand.
Everyone gets a brand.
So there's a Tank 300.
Right, there's 500, there's 700, if
Yeah.
not mistaken, but we are not getting it yet.
Yeah, the 500 will come later this year.
We saw it in the auto show, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a GLE fighter, I tell you, and it's absolute appointed to that level.
Yeah. And I think it was the Tank 500 that made them want to make an entire brand separate.
Right, they realized that there is a market there,
There's a
isn't
market
it?
for it. The Tank 500 that we get will come with a hybrid engine from Thailand. This
Right.
one is coming from
China,
with
right.
a regular 2-litre turbo.
And this is not a new product, it's been out a while.
2020 if I'm not mistaken.
So it's been around for a while, right? But one thing good about this kind of car is that you can't really tell because they look like they came from 1985.
Maybe that's why they do it. Timeless design.
Which is good actually. So now one thing a lot of people worry about Chinese cars, hey, is it tested? Is it tested? Well, we tested the X70 for so many years. It's okay lah.
Yeah.
But of course with GWM, the brand you are not familiar with, but this has been around. In fact, I just saw a number of videos on the Tank 300 and there were very little complaints.
Yeah. Apparently in China it's the best or second best selling off-roader.
That's very interesting because how many contenders are there again?
Not very many, yeah.
This is where it gets interesting because we are talking about a segment where in Malaysia
It's so niche.
there is no contender.
Yeah. No direct contender.
Who's the direct contender? Is Jeep selling cars here?
Not anymore.
Okay, there you go, not anymore.
They exited.
FJ is out,
Yeah.
right? FJ was never here.
The closest money-wise would be a Fortuner because it's kind of off-roader.
Okay, all right.
But that is too much of a hammer. This is a little bit more polished.
That's a stone tool.
That's a stone tool.
Yeah, this is a metal tool. There's 200,000 years of difference there.
Correct.
Now, I understand how tough Fortuner can be. I have one myself, but it's not a pleasant place to be, let's put it this way.
You can
right?
feel the Hilux roots.
And before you say, oh, you want pleasant, no, I also have a FJ. And FJ, despite all the cheap plastic cladding, is pleasant. Yeah, at least below 100 kilo. Above 100 kilo is a brick. But
And
below,
FJ has that big 4-litre
correct,
V6.
4-litre V6, torque to the heavens.
Yeah.
It's very comfortable, very easy to drive.
Correct.
And that quality is missing in those kind of small engine.
In the Fortuner.
In the Fortuner, I don't want to say so straight. Fortuner is a Hilux, let's put it this way, with a little bit more leather. That's what it is, right?
So directly it would be kind of Prado
Right.
competitor.
It is kind of the Wrangler, the FJ, the memory of the FJ. No, now
Memory of the
now we call it the Land Cruiser, what, 250 or?
yeah.
It's that class. And I'm telling you, interesting vehicle.
Basically off-road luxury lifestyle where it is supposed to be designed for off-road, so it has all those features, but they know that the intended audience
90% on normal
will
tarmac.
just be on normal tarmac. So they also expect a bit of luxury.
Okay, maybe not luxury, but lifestyle.
Lifestyle,
Luxury would have gone into things like
G-Wagon,
Defender, or the current Defender, not the previous
Not the old
Defender.
Defender.
The current, and you realize or not, we're talking about cars million ringgit.
Correct. Essentially what we're saying is if you're going into this Malaysian market with that mindset to look for a car like that,
Nothing less than half a
There's
million.
nothing less than half a million, exactly.
Nothing less than
It's
half
either
a
you
million.
get a Fortuner or you jump straight to Defender.
Correct.
There's nothing in between.
Nothing in between.
Yeah. Everything else is grey market, right? Or used or recon, whatever it is. So this car, very interesting proposition. The other thing that is quite unique about it is that it is the most expensive ICE-powered
Chinese car.
We have to also ask ourselves whether it's good value, being the most expensive of the Chinese cars, but also somehow the cheapest of its entire category.
Yeah, it's the most expensive, at the same time it's the cheapest of its category.
The value section of this
Well,
discussion
it's quite
will be very
interesting.
interesting.
Right, so we should check out the car, man.
When I got the car, the moment I came out of the parking lot and made the U-turn, there was an orange FJ right in front of me. And I was like, hey, twins!
Yes, it's aiming at exactly the same group of people.
Yes, and this is the right color to send the message that, hey, remember that
FJ?
car? That's me now.
Yeah.
So it's not just a pretend off-roader.
Right.
They actually made it with a leather chassis and they gave it actual steel structural bumpers in front here.
Tough.
Yeah, it's not just like some cheap plastic thing that doesn't really work. It's real. And as you can see, like, it has been scuffed up.
Oh, yes. I heard this car is quite tortured.
Yeah, it's a marketing car, so they let the media go off-road
Right.
with it, mud trails and all that. So
I gone up the curve just now. It has that.
we accidentally went up the curve. But in terms of design, the look, a lot of people say it's very derivative.
It is.
Of Ford Bronco.
It's something you've seen before.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a bad thing. The logo doesn't look too tacky. It's just a T. There's no like tank here. Or anything like that. It's just simple. And you got an off-center front camera.
Why don't they put it in the center?
I don't know. Maybe they couldn't squeeze the electronics there, the latch is there, something like that. This part here, very familiar, kind of like a Jeep or Defender.
Like it looks a bit like a Defender, isn't it? The clamshell, yeah.
All this was not necessary,
Yeah.
but they want to achieve a little bit of a military, utilitarian look to it, which is not necessary and does affect the usability of the car somewhat. Because if you look at that, it's quite a high step.
Tough, yeah.
But you got that tough look, all metal.
Yeah.
This is plastic, but underneath.
I mean, there is a solid brace because I stepped on it just now.
Yeah, you can take
it's
it
tough one. I noticed that the plastic is a little bit like bright and scratchy, right?
Yeah.
But I think there's a reason why, because this is supposed to be tough, right?
Yes.
Utilitarian, and that's what I get in the FJ as well, right? It doesn't feel expensive, but man, this thing is tough.
It's made to be durable and low maintenance.
Yes.
So if it's painted, means every time it's scratched, you got
to paint it.
Autophiles back in the drain again.
That's our standard, in the drain.
Here you get a little touch of modernity.
I like.
A lot of the parts of the car look very, very 1980s.
Right.
But in the light signature in front and back, you get a touch of like, oh, this is a modern.
Modern, yeah.
Here you got LED strips with the black cladding. This is the boot. Which
It looks exactly like an FJ.
yeah, but it's a bit small.
A bit
400 liters.
a bit less than an FJ.
And very high up. This boot is the one big reason why I would think that this is not a car that you can one car household.
Why?
It's a little bit
small.
too high,
Too
and
high.
a little bit too small. There's a thing here.
Oh yeah. Yes.
This goes up.
Yes. Yes.
Ah, that's the way.
This I can sleep, can I? Maybe not long enough for me to sleep.
Maybe not.
I think it's okay, it's not great.
Yeah, but this kind of setup, you gotta remember left, grab, and then right.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you'll be
It'd be a bit
stepping
harder
over
to get
yourself.
in. But okay, right? Like headroom, no need to ask, it's okay lah. Legroom
It's really good.
is really good.
Legroom, a bit floating.
Okay lah.
But if someone smaller was sitting,
you have a
think
bit
it's
more
okay.
space. Yeah. It's not what he say, okay? No need to plan in your head. You just come in. It's
something here, right? No. Oh, okay. I thought I heard
almost
something.
lah. Okay. That is good. For me, it's excellent, man. I mean, of course, the problem is my feet is under the chair.
Yes. But they've got adequate space.
Yeah, you can actually slide it under without problem.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's sliding under the chair means the leg room is not the greatest lah. That is good.
Floating. Got couple
Decent. Yeah.
You got USB-A.
Why is this not very well screwed together?
It's not screwed together. Well, it's not to the standard of FJ.
Yeah, it's not tight enough screwed together. You see? It moves.
I think they look at it and they say this is not a problem.
Yeah.
We have already done the calculations.
Yeah.
It will survive 15 years. If it breaks after 15 years,
You're a fat So yeah, aircon
vents at the back. And look at the door card.
okay,
Man. No compromise.
Yeah,
Everything that
look at that, the amount of stitches, like unnecessarily.
Ambient lighting that changes
ambient
colour.
lighting. Okay, here is a bit hard, right?
Oh yeah, that is. The front is soft.
Front is okay.
The
Here
front is
hard.
actual leather, but
Yeah.
here it's plastic with the Vios molded stitching that they didn't bother to hide properly.
But to be honest,
Yeah.
I am not gonna nitpick on this lah, because in the FJ is worse.
Correct. In the FJ, it's literally all hard plastic,
All
so
hard
you can
plastic.
like use a hose and.
There was nothing. There is no flare in the FJ. There is no flare. This is not here. There is no design going on. All right, let's check out the front, man.
Feeling this.
This is one of those ass first car.
Yeah. or instead of it being ass first, you can left.
Yeah. Go and remember your
There's a
steps.
proper order.
But to be honest, this.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness, yes. In front here, soft. Only hard part. Stitch, the button feels alright. Touch feels alright. Screwed together relatively well. Soft. Classy, even though it's hard. Here is the only part that is
Feels a bit
hard.
cheap.
But again, because of this and the design that it has, looks just right in place.
Yeah.
There is nothing in here that I want to complain other than this. Like, what the hell is this dog leg?
It's a gear shifter on top of another gear shifter, on top of another gear shifter, mating with another gear shifter. And I would say it's also not very intuitive because you get the RNDM, but sometimes it's hard to see that the P is a button in front here.
The P is right here, right? Yeah. I don't get that in my FJ.
Actually, it's how.
Oh, drive mode.
This one is all of the off-road.
Right.
There's no sports mode.
Right. Right.
All of this is off-road stuff.
Diff lock. These are diff locks.
This is the interesting thing. This locks the inner wheels.
Oh shit! So you can make very short turn.
To decrease the turning circle.
What?
99% of the customers are not going to use any of this.
Yeah, unless you treat it as a toy. So if you're going to off-road it...
Would you off-road your $250,000 car?
Not in the first 10 years. But after that, I will.
After that?
Yeah.
When it's at its most breakable.
Then we go to the jungle.
And get stuck there. This thing is pretty good because you got...
chill.
Yeah, you got a sliding tray.
Right, nice.
Yeah, it's chill thing. You can open and close, access to the cooler.
Cup holder.
Holders.
Look at that Mercedes influenced.
With the same mechanism as Mercedes.
Yeah.
And you got a nice analog clock. When's the last time you saw an analog clock?
Nice. I like.
Maserati, I think was the last one.
Maserati is now going to go to the Chinese, right?
Oh,
they made an offer. I think they are selling Maserati.
Imagine the company buys Maserati and the next month they just close it. Oh. They buy it just to close it.
That's what BMW would do. So how's the infotainment?
Infotainment, there's wired Apple CarPlay and wired Android Auto.
Right.
So one step behind where you expected, like very 2020 rather than 2024.
Okay.
But the good thing is that the aircon controls are physical.
There is a physical shortcut. Okay, that's good. But you can also control here, lah?
Yes. The issue with this car is that a lot of the ADAS is all buried in here.
Okay.
The lane keep assist, because it's built to Australian regulations.
It must come in here to switch it off.
Yeah, there's no way to memorize
I'm sure GWM Malaysia can solve this problem.
They said they can, but because the car comes back like this, they cannot undo it. So it's a thing that they can solve at the factory, but because they have already spec'd it to Australian standards, they cannot. So,
I see.
Yeah, unfortunate lah. We are not a big enough market
for them. Well, somebody will find a hack around, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, button. Small.
Yeah, pretty small. But I remember the FJ that you had, the interior was a little bit cramped. It's wide, but like this kind
not
of
a lot of space.
Storage space and all that was a little bit less than you expect.
Yeah.
I think it's because it's squarish.
Yeah.
The angle of the windscreen and the dashboard being so upright.
Yeah.
And there's no like empty space down here.
Oh, this one also don't have, huh?
Because I think the four-wheel drive system is so big and it's bulky, a leather chassis.
Right.
So I think the passengers do feel, not to say it's cramped, but you don't get that kind of
You don't get a maximize the space. But it's like that, right? You look at how small the Fortuner is on the inside.
Yes, exactly.
It's freaking joke, man.
It's expected in this segment.
Yeah, it's like why is the car so big? When the inside is like a Vios.
Small, yeah. So it's another one of those things that takes away some marks from this being a family car.
But I'm okay.
It's okay. It's just that
in this car, I feel it's a legroom a bit lah. Legroom a bit lah. But I mean, you push it all the way back.
I'm not suffering. Honestly, this is great.
Yeah.
It's just that water bottle of this size is barely fitting in there. So design. Exterior is really good,
right?
Because it has that classic off-roader proportions, which no brand can run away from. Defender, FJ Cruiser, Bronco, whatever it is that GM has, they all have that same squarish shape. Jeep, all those they have that same shape. And your front light is going to be circle or it's going to be rectangle. To the point where even Land Cruiser was like, okay, we do both.
We let you choose.
There's only like a couple of ways you can do this. So when I look at this, it doesn't look that derivative because it has its own signature lighting, and that is about all you can do in this segment. So I think exterior is done really well, and the fact that they went with orange is kind of bold and like like in your face Toyota kind of thing.
FJ, I'm here.
Oh, you discontinue in 2019. Never mind, I'll pick up the slack. Exterior, I have to give it like a 4.2. I think it's a good job. How much more can you do to this design? I don't think that much more.
Unless you go down the Defender route. But the problem is then the cost. It's a different level, right?
And Defender, I think, is the benchmark for the best possible.
But Defender is also a monocoque.
Yes.
That we do not know how well it will hold up.
And yeah, once you have monocoque, you can play with proportions a bit more.
Right.
But you know, Defender has that aura about it.
Yeah,
that is
it does,
untouchable. You know.
Yeah.
For now.
For now, yeah, we shall see. Things change very fast these days.
Yeah, but this car is definitely encroaching on that middle ground Ford Bronco.
Right,
FJ
definitely.
Yeah.
It's channeling FJ lah. It's so obvious. Channeling FJ, channeling Wrangler.
Not even the logo, which is usually the weakest part about Chinese cars. Not even that was done poorly.
Yeah.
Everything was done to a professional standard.
Right.
Design-wise, here's where I have a little bit of issue, but I don't think I will mind as much.
Right.
I think there's a little bit of not to say disconnect, but like strangeness going on. Like, I don't know what was it. It's just to show you I can do this.
Yeah, because
can you do this?
Because the competitors just give you a slab.
It'll just be one line or no
it's a slab. It will be a slab of plastic.
Yeah.
Right.
But this, I don't understand what are they going for.
Right.
Because it's not. There's no signal in my brain that signifies this is luxury or this is rugged or this is sporty. This is just what it is. So when I see this, I'm just like, what is this? And this as well. I'm just like looking at this and like, what is this? I don't know what this is. I don't know what they are going for. I wouldn't say it's a bad thing.
Right.
It's just a weird thing. The positive is that I think in a couple of decades, this will actually be a kind of unique thing about the first gen Tank 300.
A signature.
Yeah, where now, you know, when we look back at like, the 70s Japanese car, we're like, you know, last time they used to do stuff there. I was just thinking, you know, the CRV, the first gen, comes with a picnic table hidden under the boot floor.
Right.
And so does this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I forgot to show it just now.
Oh, no.
But yeah, it has a deployable picnic table.
You can cut it in here.
Cut it in here, in the first generation of a nameplate, I think it's important to try something that is
something new, something you know, you just give it a try lah. Because after all, what heritage, what past you're talking about, just do it.
Yeah,
right?
and if it's successful, then your next generation, you just iterate on it, and then you can say, oh, you know, in the first gen we did this, and then we're moving that. So it's weird, but I think they can take these things somewhere. And you can say this is cheap plastic, but have you been in an FJ?
Have you been in an FJ? This is everywhere.
So design interior is, I would say 4.
Okay.
I'm not as impressed as the exterior, but it is still objectively pretty damn good. Because every complaint, when you look at the competitors, they are not doing that much better. Only the Defender is absolutely great.
But look at the price they ask.
Price, yeah, correct.
Look at how much they ask. You know, like nobody is saying the Chinese are beating the Germans and everything. No, but at the end of the day, if they do 90% of what you do, they're asking 20% of what you ask. Yeah, so 4 on the inside,
4.2 outside. What about you?
I got nothing to say. Outside is like that, It's expected exactly how you expect it. Can it be improved? Of course it can. But if it costs more, don't bother. So for me, outside is a 4. I'm not going to complain. It's okay lah. You know, you dress it up more, then you know you end up paying more. As a first model, nobody wants to ask too much. On the inside, on the other hand, I'm actually very impressed because coming from an FJ, and I'm already not that complaining because at least in an FJ they try to brain it by saying, oh, this is how it's designed, you can hose down the whole damn car, which nobody does. Nobody holds down their car, right? So in that sense, interior, this is like light speed, warp speed, light years ahead of the FJ. You know, build quality wise, sure, it's not as, here's okay, but this one, okay, fine. Certain parts not as well screwed together, but we're nitpicking lah, to be honest. You know, we're nitpicking. It's more a matter of image. You know, so if you can't screw this in that well,
it feels like
so what about you? You get what I mean? That being said, you know, the rest of the car is so damn freaking solid, bro. Ooh, look at this, so damn freaking solid, man. Now, this is, maybe because of the size of the piece, it's a little bit too large, but this is good, man. This is good. You know, the door is very well screwed together, everything is just tight, you know, well, I can't complain. On the interior, I would say it's a 4.3. So it's a 4 on the outside, 4.3 on the inside, 4.2, 4.15. I think our score is very similar. You can't complain, that's the problem. You can't complain. If you want to complain, have you sat in the competitor?
Once, the moment you give this car a little bit of context, in terms of price, competition, everything, this is literally the best. Okay, let's go for a try. Yeah, let's go for a try, man. Reminds me a bit of what Theophilus said. Asked me about cherry. I said, personally, I won't touch a cherry.
But I don't want to complain about Chery. There's a reason why I don't want to bash them so hard. Because from a macro sense, they're a force of good in this country. Because they're slapping Proton everywhere around. You know what I mean? Those f***ers are lazy, and they are arrogant, and they're too comfortable. You know what I mean? So overall, I wouldn't buy it, Chery.
But you're happy there. It opens the eyes of the customer a lot.
Yeah. And especially now that the government is taking away the taxes, you realize, holy shit, you know, we are getting, you know, like the recently launched SU7 Ultra, SU7 Ultra. How much are they asking? 300 over 1,000 ringgit. 0 to 100 in what? 2 seconds. 1,500 horsepower. Yeah, but the Taycan has... Bro, it's 300,000 ringgit. All context is blown away, right? So that's how it is in this car as well. And remember, 100% tax here. You have at the very minimum 100% excise, at the very minimum another 30% of import tax.
That's a value discussion.
Oh, that's a value. So yeah.